Hello again, everybody, and welcome into the Handicap Spot. I'm your host, Luke Robinson, where we park you closer to your financial dreams each and every week. Well, with me as always is the only handicapper who is endorsed officially by the XFL Chicago Bob Parlay.
Luke, first of all, this is my first live appearance here on the set. I thought I took a wrong turn and got in my broom closet. But anywho's, back to the matter at hand about the XFL. They have some realignment issues that we're working on right now, but once we get that squared away, the XFL is going to be huge.
No doubt about it, Bob. Of course, the XFL will be back, and I'm sure it'll be back in spades, no doubt about it. Well, Bob, let's go ahead and talk about your winner last week, and I say winner singularly. You had one winner and one game we won't discuss very much regarding the NFL playoffs. Let's go ahead and talk about those two contests.
Well, I'll tell you what, Luke. I had the Baltimore Ravens covering the spread against the New England Patriots in Game 1. And I'll tell you what, Luke, they were just like that square box over the nudie magazines at the airport rack. They covered the spread for yours truly, Bob Parlay.
Well, Bob, let's go ahead and tackle the Super Bowl next week, because that'll be, of course, the Chicago Bob Parlay Handicap Spot Super Bowl Spectacular, which we have every single year. And you have a phenomenal record in the Super Bowl, by the way. We'll go over that next week. But for right now, we're going to talk about one of your favorite games every single year, the NFL Pro Bowl.
Well, Luke, look, the Pro Bowl is special to me. It's the only NFL postseason all-star game that I pick all year. So you know this is a once-in-a-year game for this week. Now we're going to start here. There's some late-breaking information coming out on the Pro Bowl. Number one, with the outcomes of last week's championship games, Tom Brady's will not be playing for the AFC. He will get replaced by Andy Dalton. Eli Manning will be representing the NFC in the Super Bowls, so he will not be making his trip to Hawaii. The NFC will get Cam Newton. One of them is a 6'6" Adonis of a human being who has been working with Apple's latest and greatest technologies since he was a freshman at Florida, and he got that laptop at a bargain basement price of stealing it. And the other one is Andy Dalton, who looks like Opie Taylor. You tell me who I'm going to pick. Take the NFCs, laying the 3.5, and count your money.
Bob, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some other things that you're going to have coming up. You're going to have officially, of course, you have this huge pick on the Pro Bowl. We're going to have a Super Bowl Spectacular next week, and we're already working on that, folks. And be sure and tune in to Sports Blitz Live next week. But also, you are going to jump into the world of the lottery.
Well, Luke, let me tell you this. I'm expanding Bob Parlay International Corporation, and you are correct. Enough of this peanuts with taking your local bookie to the cleaners like I've been doing for a better part of 5 decades. I'm talking about the big dollars with the lottery. I have some secret numbers here that are going to be coming up after the Super Bowl that are going to blow your mind.
Bob, you put on your 900 number last week that you're really starting to love the number 8 again. 8's coming back.
Yeah, Luke, but that's only in your local lotteries. That's only in your church lotteries. That's the only one I'm talking about that. Now, for the Powerball, that's only for my power players that are going to call my 900 number.
We want to talk about a new sponsor for the Handicap Spot, which allows us to bring you Chicago Bob Parlay each and every week, and that is Oliver and Treadwell, attorneys at law in Dadeville.
Well, absolutely, Luke. They handle all of your legal matters, and their motto is, do like Bob Parlay and don't gamble with your legal matters. They have handled all 4 of my divorces, all 6 of my misdemeanors, and they're currently working on 2 felonies.
You know what? They got a great legal team up there, Bob, and I think half of that team, at least, is dedicated to defending you in several different legal situations. Well, Bob, we're going to allow you to stay on with us, and we're going to try and take some phone calls, and hopefully some folks will call in and want to talk to the one, the only Chicago Bob Parlay, so we will certainly await those phone calls, which should be coming in any minute. Sounds like we got one now.
Caller, you're on the airs?
Yeah, I was wondering what you guys thought about next year's national championship.
Well, Bob, he wants to ask us about the odds for next year's national championships. National championship, I should say. I'm starting to talk like you a little bit. Tell us who are the favorites to win the national championship and win the BCS trophy.
Well, Luke, there's some late odds that are coming out there. And LSU, who is expected to be everybody's preseason number ones, they're a 4-1 underdog. If you lay 100, you get 400 if LSU comes back and wins the national championship. The Alabama Crimson Tide is getting 5-1, which is basically like taking your deposit slip to Vegas and filling it out and saying multiply whatever this number is times 5 and putting it in your bank. The next game is USC. The Trojans are getting 9-1, which, that sounds reasonable to me. And keep going down to other teams in the SEC. Georgia's listed at 12-1. Arkansas is listed at 18-1. And Auburn is Avogadro's number to 1.
Well, caller, thanks so much for calling in. Is that all you got for us?
Where did Chicago Bob go to college?
Look, Chicago Bob went to college on the hard streets of Chicago, Illinois, which is where I got my name. So, look, don't be – caller, I appreciate the inference, but let me just tell you this. I got educated by the School of Hard Knocks, and I got a Ph.D. in player history when I was out there at the School of Hard Knocks. So I appreciate the inference into my history there, caller.
I love watching y'all.
Thank you, callers.
Well, listen, Bob, let's talk a little bit more about that. So you think LSU is the favorite to win it all next year. Would those be your odds? I know that you pulled those up on your Tandy 2000 telephone there. Tell me, would that be your favorite team to win the national championship in 2012?
Well, actually, Luke, since I am a Vegas insider, I help make those odds. That's the kind of player I am. But yes, LSU is going to be the preseason number one with returning a great defense, and they do have Alabama at home, so I do agree with putting them at 4-1, followed closely by Alabama. Then you got the next group behind there. You got USC at 9-1. Then you got Georgia, I believe, Oregon, Oklahoma. All of them are in that 12-1 range. Auburn is legitimately 50-1. So it looks like we got a caller on the air. We're going to try and get this. We got another caller there. Caller, you're on the airs.
Hey, Bob, it's Marty from Wisconsin.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
I'm doing great, Bob. I'm down here at the Hardee's. They got liquid soap all over the floor. I don't know what the heck's going on.
Look, I tell you what, my best advice is to go to the drive-thru.
Well, I tell you, Bob, I will, but that burgers, they ain't got no cheese on the burgers in the drive-thru.
Well, what you do is, look, we're from Wisconsin and from Chicago. We know about cheese. That's one thing we do over there.
Don't give me none of that, Bob. You eat hot dogs like it's nobody else's business around here.
Well, look, what you got to do is you got to explain to them how you want it when you get to one of these southern towns and you get to fast food joints.
Bob, listen, the reason I'm calling here is because I want your odds on the Super Bowl right now. Who you taking right now from Marty in Wisconsin?
Well, Marty in Wisconsin, currently the line is listed as the New England Patriots, a 2.5-point favorite, which is going to put the odds at roughly 150 to 100. That means if you're laying $1 down on the New England Patriots, you got to be willing to risk 150. So that's pretty much the odds are. They're saying it's basically a coin toss with a slight favorite for the win for it to land on heads, which would be Tom Brady's.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bob. I don't really know what you're talking about. I really don't. I enjoy listening to the show, but you and Luke here, you guys need to come on down here to the Hardee's. I got a serious problem.
Well, let me tell you what. If you can upscale the arrangement to someplace that'll have some scotch for yours truly, Chicago Bob, we might be able to make this arrangement happen.
Well, I'll see what I can do down here. Like I said, I'm down here at the Hardee's. Marty from Wisconsin. I'm out of here, guys. Have a great one.
Thank you, Marty. Let's go ahead and take another caller, Bob.
Caller, you're on the airs.
This is Mike from Estes, Florida.
Mike, how you doing, buddy? Glad to have you back.
I'm doing pretty good. I was calling because last time we talked about Tim Tebow and how clutch he was.
Yeah?
Well, I believe somebody was talking about how clutch he was. Chicago Bob had the New England Patriots in that
very well in the clutch department.
Well, I mean, there wasn't a moment to be clutch. I mean, that was pretty much a blowout, right?
Yeah, when you get beat down, I mean, it was, you look, every time I looked up at the score, it was, enough, it was worse and worse and worse and worse.
Well, let me tell you what, I don't think Luke Skywalker could have led a troop of Ewoks on a comeback to that one if he was facing the Death Star. So what I'm saying is that game was a blowout. Tim Tebow couldn't have showed up. I mean, nobody could have done anything with that one.
Hold on, did you just say Death Star?
I do believe that
He-
Tom Brady
he-
was a Death Star, and I believe it was like Luke Skywalker trying to lead a troop of Ewoks.
He also said Ewoks.
Oh man, I don't know if I can follow a Star Wars reference with anything else. That's
It's called Episode 6.
Okay. I also had another question. Speaking of Tim Tebow, if you were a sports owner, would you rather have LeBron James, debatably the best player in the league, yet the least clutch player of probably all time, or Tim Tebow, probably the worst quarterback in the league, yet the most clutch player of all time?
Well, first of all, let me take this a little bit, Luke. First of all, I can never own a sports team due to my felony records that I'm currently trying to get worked out with Oliver and Treadwell. Number two, it depends on what sport I'm playing. If I'm playing basketball, I don't care how clutch Tim Tebow is, I believe I'll take LeBron James.
Hold on, come on. You're missing the question completely. This isn't fifth grade. I'm saying, if you own a basketball team, would you rather have, you own two franchises. You are like Mark Cuban in 10 years or something. Let's say Mark Cuban has the Mavericks, and Mark Cuban has the Los Angeles Deltas, because that will be a extension franchise then. Would you rather have Tim Tebow in your football team or LeBron James on your basketball team? You cannot have both.
First of all, I am glad you said it's not fifth grade because Chicago Bob only made it to fourth. But I think, I think first of all it is a loaded question because you mentioned Tim Tebow as being the most clutch player of all time, and really, I mean, we don't have near enough evidence to say anything that resembles that remark, I don't think. And LeBron James, I'm with you. I'm down on him, too, in terms of his ability to pull a team out in the clutch, especially last year when you had a talented team like Miami and they don't win the NBA championship. However, I got to say, I really would take LeBron James. I think overall he's more marketable. I think that he brings your franchise more money in the long term. And while I'm high on Tim Tebow as a human being, and I really think that his quarterbacking skills are undervalued, I think LeBron James is definitely the guy you'd want to have as the face of a franchise because you're going to make a lot more money and you're going to have more shots at championships because of him.
Yeah, but the guy only plays 3 out of 4 quarters.
Well, let me just tell you this about LeBron James, too. One of them's going to be in the Hall of Fames in their respective sport, and one of them's going to be selling the hot and cheddar roast beef at Arby's in Denver in 4 years when they set him free of his contract.
Are you kidding? Tim Tebow, let's be honest. Regardless of what happens with Tim Tebow in Denver, the guy is going to be successful at whatever he can do. He's not going to be selling. He might.
Well, he'll be employee of the month wherever he ends up. He'll be employee of the month. He'll get his own parking spot at Arby's.
Now, he might own 15 Arby's. We're talking about Tim Tebow.
No, listen, man, I like Tebow, okay? I like him a lot. And he probably will save a lot of his money. I mean, he's not going to spend it all boozing and chasing women, I can tell you that. So, I mean, he might have a lot of money left over. But, again...
Well, you can't take it with you, Luke.
I know.
Chicago Bob here.
That's why you're broke. But I'm going to tell you that I think that Tebow is good and a great story and really a lot of fun to watch and probably the most intriguing player in all of sports at the moment. But for the face of a franchise and in terms of who would you rather have as an owner, I don't think it's any question. I'd much rather have LeBron James.
Okay. All right. On the exact opposite end of the spectrum, and I know this is kind of an odd question, but this came up between my wife and I. Would you rather have Kobe Bryant or Tebow? Go.
Kobe Bryant, again.
Not the current Kobe. Well, let's say that Kobe back when he was cheating on his wife.
I'll take the current Kobe, the Kobe Bryant playing high school basketball in Philadelphia.
Games. Like if you weren't guarding him and step inside the half-court line, boom, he was killing a 30.
Look, Chicago Bob would take a Kobe steak over Tim Tebow, but that's not me. I know where you're going with this, and I get it. I get that you want to bring in the morality side of it and the ethical side of it, okay? I understand.
No, I'm saying, would you rather have an unethical Kobe Bryant killing 81 a game or a Tim Tebow?
I mean, as an owner, really, in the end, it's always about the money, so I'd rather have
Tim
Kobe Bryant.
Tim Tebow has started a grand total of 9 football games in his NFL careers.
What's your point?
Well, I mean, we're choosing from such a small sample size that it's hard to say he's the most clutch player of all time. He's also been a victim of 4 straight blowouts.
straight, but not 4 straight.
Well, I mean, 4 total blowouts out of 9 games. He's betting about 500 whether he's going to win it or get blown out.
He was also playing for the Denver Broncos, who were absolutely horrible.
No, and look, I see your point, Mike. I get where you are with this. I understand it. And I think Tim Tebow is undervalued as a player overall. At the same time, he's not in the same discussion as a Kobe Bryant or a LeBron James. Now, if you want to say, would I rather have Tim Tebow or, God, I mean, maybe Chris Paul? I mean, I'd probably rather have Tim Tebow.
No, I disagree, Luke, because one of them is going to be making all-star games each and every year, and one of them may or not be playing the position in 6 months.
The only reason he wouldn't play the position is because people don't think that he has the talent. However, he's won a national championship.
It's totally irrelevant in the NFL.
As an owner, I don't care that he won a national championship.
So
as,
did
the guy's a winner.
Listen,
so was Charlie Sheen, but I wasn't picking.
Let's go back and look before his current professional sample size. Isn't that how they determine, how they want to pick a professional player? They don't say, this guy's got a nice name. No, they look at their collegiate career.
No, I mean,
absolutely.
I totally disagree with that too. Look, there are players every year that come out of nowhere.
Look at Charlie Ward. He won a national championship, didn't get drafted in the NFLs.
Charlie Ward wasn't he killing it for the Knicks, New York Knicks?
That's because he didn't get drafted in the NFL. He had to pick another sport.
He won a Heisman and a national championship and didn't get drafted, is what his point is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Charlie Ward really counts because he's an anomaly and had a great NBA career. I mean,
he didn't have a great NBA career. He played in the NBA. He didn't have a great NBA career. But every year there are players on small teams, Division II teams. There are players all over the place that didn't win in college that do really well in the NFL. So,
Jarvis Green Ellis.
Okay, look at the quarterback that played at Nebraska. I forget his name. He won me a bunch of money, but he won a couple national championships.
Scott Frost?
No, the black quarterback ran the triple option.
Oh, Tommy Frazier.
Tommy Frazier won the Heisman and 2 national championships. He didn't get drafted. He's a street sweeper in Des Moines.
He's a what?
He's a street sweeper working in Des Moines.
Is that really what he's doing?
I don't know. Just seemed like something good to say tonight.
Sure, why not?
Gotcha. All right, fellas. Well, I'm about to hit it. I rode up with my buddy here in Birmingham. We're going to check out. I got to establish up here off 256B known as Sammy.
All right, bud.
Y'all have a good evening.
Tell him Chicago Bob sent you.
We got another caller. I can't believe they're pouring in. Caller, you're on the air.
Hey, guys, it's Marty down here at the Hardee's again. What's going on?
Did you get that soap cleaned up?
Say what now?
Did you get that soap cleaned up?
Well, I tell you, they got the liquid soap cleaned up, but they still can't find pickles on their Vegas. Guys, the main reason I'm calling is down here they got a lady working at the desk. Always talking about this guy at the Force Blitz who loves Tim Tebow. I want to know who this guy is. Give me a name.
Yeah, Brett Pritchard.
Brett Pritchard. Hold on, this is the same Brett that works at the Sport Blitz and calls the Benjamin Russell football games.
That's him.
Brett, are you there?
No, we don't let him talk anymore.
You don't let him talk no more.
Yeah, he got too Tim Tebow-y.
Well, I tell you right now, he can come on down here to the Hardee's because the liquid soap's all over the floor. They're down here. They got no pickles for the burgers, no cheese for the cheeseburgers. And this lady's talking about how she loves Tim Tebow, and he loves Tim Tebow too. That's what I hear.
Well, look, somebody needs to love Tim Tebow because, let me tell you what, the handicappers like myself understand that he can't play the position and that what we do is make the spread low so all the Tebow lovers can go ahead and throw their weekly checks.
Hold on. Stop the trains. Bob, for once, I completely agree with you. Tim Tebow is the worst NFL quarterback I ever seen in my whole life. He's the worst quarterback I ever seen in my whole entire life. He might be able to win games, but I think he's the worst NFL quarterback ever. And I'll tell you something. I know bad quarterbacks. I know bad sports guys. I live in Milwaukee.
You do know bad sports.
Oh, Bob, don't give me none of that. Don't give me none of that.
Look, you haven't had a good baseball team since Bob.
You just lost field at the Detroit.
You haven't had a good team
in the Hardee's in Alexander City. I got nothing going on. There's liquid soap pouring all over the floor. All I want is a burger and fries.
All right, why don't you get out of the bathroom? It sounds like that soap dispenser has a leak in it.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. It's all over the floor, though. I just hope it's not getting in the slushy mix back there.
All right, bud. Thanks for your phone call.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Tell Brett I said Tebow along.
We'll do it. Thank you.